What if the wrong pharaoh has been in museums for 100 years? In 2025, archaeologists uncovered a sealed tomb near Luxor, just 2.4 kilometers from King Tutankhamun's. But inside, there was no gold, no sarcophagus, no king, just a shattered alabaster jar, etched with a single, haunting name, Thutmose II, a pharaoh we believed we'd already found. His supposed mummy had been on display for over 100 years, photographed, scanned, exhibited worldwide. But here's the twist. That mummy never fit. Wrong age, wrong disease, wrong face. The body didn't match the historical records or the king's own iconography. It had always been an outlier, an anomaly. So if this was Thutmose's real tomb, then who have we been showing the world? And why was this king ruler of Egypt's most powerful dynasty buried in silence, stripped of glory, and seemingly erased from history? This isn't just an archaeological update. It's a direct contradiction, a discovery that threatens to unravel a century of assumptions about ancient Egypt's golden age. Because if Thutmose was hidden on purpose, if his body was replaced, then this isn't just one mistake. It's evidence of a cover-up, a buried correction. And the scariest question isn't just who we've been misidentifying, it's why. For over a century, Thutmose II was ancient Egypt's greatest royal question mark. A king from the mightiest dynasty of the Golden Age vanished. No tomb, no confirmed body, just a blank space where legacy should have lived. His father's burial was found. His son's tomb? Legendary. His wife, Hatshepsut, lies in full honor in the Valley of the Kings. But Thutmose II? Nothing. Not even a mislabeled tomb. Not a hidden corridor. Just silence, as if someone had erased him. And yet, his life was anything but minor. He married one of the most powerful women in Egyptian history. He fathered the king who would stretch Egypt's empire farther than ever before. He bridged 3 dynasties that should have earned a grand burial. And yet, Egyptologists were left with scraps, weathered inscriptions, scattered statues, and one peculiar candidate, a mummy labeled CG61066. Discovered in the 1800s, it was stored in a royal cache and catalogued as Thutmose II. For decades, museums displayed it as fact. But the body never fit the story. CT scans revealed deep scarring from a chronic skin disease. The bones were aged far beyond Thutmose's supposed death. And the facial features didn't match his iconography. Too old, too sick, too wrong. The cracks widened. Was this the real king or just a convenient placeholder? The confusion ran deeper than biology. It was also about geography. Early 18th dynasty tombs were fragile, many carved into flood-prone cliffs. Some were looted within years. Others were dismantled by high priests trying to preserve royal remains. Entire burial sites disappeared, washed away, or hidden by design. Thutmose II didn't just vanish. He became a symbol. His missing tomb represented something bigger, the fragility of memory itself. For Egyptologists, the goal wasn't treasure, it was truth, a way to restore a shattered succession and reconnect the bloodline. Because Thutmose's reign, though brief, shaped everything that followed. His marriage to Hatshepsut, that alliance gave rise to one of the most ambitious female rulers in history. His early death, it left a power vacuum that redefined the royal court for a generation. So to find his tomb wouldn't just be a discovery. It would be a correction. And in 2025, when a sealed chamber was finally uncovered just 2.4 kilometers from Tutankhamun's tomb, it seemed like the story might finally close. But Egypt doesn't do clean endings. The tomb was stripped, the body was missing, and what remained would only deepen the mystery. What does it feel like to break open a tomb sealed for over 3,000 years? You expect gold, inscriptions, murals whispering the journey to the afterlife. But this tomb gave archaeologists none of that. In 2022, a team from the New Kingdom Research Foundation began combing the desolate western wadis near Luxor, so barren that even tour guides skipped it. It didn't look royal. It didn't even look promising. But then, a slope, carved sharply into bedrock, too smooth to be natural, buried beneath centuries of sand. At first, the team assumed it was the tomb of a forgotten queen or consort, someone minor, maybe a secondary wife of Thutmose III, looted long ago, another quiet ruin, until they found the jar. In 2025, under flood debris and shattered pottery, the team uncovered a broken alabaster vessel. Faint, almost discarded, but scratched on its surface was a name Egypt hadn't seen in over a century. Thutmose II, the missing king, a tomb never found. And now, against all odds, here it was. If verified, it would be Egypt's first royal tomb discovery in nearly 100 years. Cameras rolled. Egyptologists froze, and then they stepped inside. What they found was devastation. No gold, no sarcophagus, no painted scenes of gods or judgment, just a hollow chamber, gutted by nature. Flash floods, likely just a few years after burial, had surged through the corridor like a wrecking ball. Ceilings collapsed, offering jars shattered, paint stripped to bare stone. Whatever lay inside was erased by water, gravity, and time. And yet, ruin still speaks. Dr. Mohammed Ismail Khalid called it one of the most important tomb finds in decades, not for what it held, but for what it hinted at. The burial chamber Saturday, January 4th, meters higher than the corridor floor. An intentional design choice, likely to protect against flooding. This wasn't a mistake. It was a prototype, an early attempt at architectural foresight, one that would evolve into the towering tombs of the Valley of the Kings. Beneath the rubble, they found flecks of blue stars, yellow hieroglyphs, traces of the Book of the Amjuet, one of the oldest funerary texts of its kind. The art was ruined, but the style was revolutionary. It was the beginning of something, turning point, but for all the clues, one thing was missing. The king. No casket, no mummy, just a name floating in destruction. Was this truly his tomb? A decoy? Or had priests, in panic, relocated the body when disaster struck? This was supposed to be closure. Instead, it tore the mystery wide open. How do you lose a king twice? That's the question haunting archaeologists after the discovery of Tomb C4. Because what they found wasn't peace. It was a problem. Inside, the evidence was overwhelming. Walls stripped bare, paint dissolved, burial goods obliterated. But here's the twist: this wasn't slow decay over centuries. Sediment analysis revealed something stunning. The destruction happened within 6 years of Thutmose II's burial. This wasn't erosion. It was obliteration. Immediate, catastrophic. Picture it. A royal tomb, freshly sealed. Rituals complete. Priests whispering spells to guide a pharaoh through the afterlife. And then, a flood. Sudden, violent. Water surging down the corridor like a divine wrecking ball. Shattering offerings. Toppling jars. Scrubbing walls bare. In ancient Egypt, that wasn't just disaster. It was cosmic failure. Because a tomb wasn't just a place, it was a machine. A divine engine built to deliver the king into eternity. And this machine had failed. So what did the priests do? They panicked. And, according to a rising theory, they acted fast. The high priests of Ammonius couldn't rebuild. But they could relocate. They gathered what they could, maybe even the king's body, and moved him. Somewhere hidden. Somewhere safer. Tomb C4 may have been the original, but it was no longer the final. Which raises two urgent questions. Where did they take him? And more disturbingly, who did they bury in his place? That brings us back to CG 61066, the mummy long believed to be Thutmose II. The body had always been a mismatch. Too old, too diseased, too far from the king's known age and appearance. CT scans showed deep skin damage. Bone analysis showed a man much older than expected. Iconography didn't match, felt wrong. And now, some scholars believe it wasn't just a mistake, it was a substitution, a deliberate deception. In the chaos after the flood, priests may have placed a different body in a secondary tomb. Not to trick us, but to maintain order. Because in a kingdom ruled by divine succession, a missing king was more dangerous than a wrong one. The illusion of continuity mattered more than the truth. And if that's true, it means the deception worked. for over 3,000 years. Textbooks, timelines, museums, all built on a royal misidentification. That body in CG 61066? It may have never been Thutmose II, and the real king, he might still be out there, hidden in a forgotten shaft, sealed in a collapsed corridor, a tomb buried not just in stone but in denial, the place they never wanted history to find. So what do we do with a tomb that rewrites history, but offers no answers? What do we call a king whose name is etched in stone, but whose body may have been lost or worse, replaced? Thutmose II was meant to be a bridge between dynasties, a ruler who connected past glory to future power. But in the end, he became something else entirely. A question, a phantom hidden by floods, by fear, and maybe by intent. His so-called mummy still lies in museums, still bears the wrong name, still fills the empty space left by disaster. But every scan, every contradiction whispers the same thing: this isn't him. And if that's true, if this wasn't just a mislabeling, but a royal sleight of hand, then we've been telling the wrong story for 100 years. About Thutmose, about the 18th dynasty, about Egypt itself. The real body, still missing. The real tomb, still hidden. Somewhere out there, beyond the flood lines and broken corridors, is the burial meant to last forever. The one they didn't want us to find. And until we do, the mystery isn't over. It's just beginning. And if Thutmose II's body is still out there, what else is buried beneath our assumptions? If you want to follow this mystery to the next lost tomb, hit subscribe. We're not done digging yet.